A very happy morning to all of you. After a break, I am here with a very important topic. Okay, can you see this picture? So, just answer some question in your mind about this picture. First of all, what can you see in this picture? What type of graph this is? What is this graph about? How many trends are given there in this graph? And what is given on x-axis and what is given on y-axis? What is the difference between these two trends? In this graph, where the death rate is maximum and how much this is, where the birth rate is maximum and how much this is, where the birth rate is minimum and how much, where the death rate is minimum and how much, on which point the birth rate is starting to raise or starting to fall, and on which point the death rate is constant or this is starting to fall or rise. And the last question is, how can you summarize all these details in 1 or 2 lines? And what a special thing you think about this graph? So, if you answer all these questions, you can analyze this graph. Now, today we are going to study about analytical paragraph writing. First of all, let's understand about analytical paragraph. What is analytical paragraph? Just see the word analytical. What does it mean? To analyze something. And what does it mean to analyze something? Analyze means observe something, understand about this, and then describe this. This is called analyze something. And we have to analyze some charts, some graph, some pie chart, or some table. And then we are to write a paragraph about this. This is called analytical paragraph. Analytical paragraph is introduced in this current session in place of story writing, and this is quite scoring composition. If you do practice, you can score full marks in this. Okay, this is quite better than story writing. Next thing is, what is there to be described? What is there to be analyzed? There may be some graph, pie chart, table, and line graph. So there are two types of graphs. This is bar graph and this is line graph. This is called bar graph and this is line graph. This is pie chart and this is table, you know very well. So let's understand about graph, because students have problem in line graph especially. They have problem to analyze line graph, especially when you describe the quantities. Let's understand with an example. This is a milk sale graph of a milkman. So what is there on x-axis? There are days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on y-axis there is milk which is sold on these days. 5 liters, 10 liters, this is given in liters. Okay, so we can see on Monday this is 10 liters, on Tuesday this is raised by 5 liters, this is 15 liters here, and this is maximum on Wednesday. And how much this is on Wednesday? So here this is the problem. Now how can you find out the quantity? So the very easy way to do this is to draw a line with your scale here and here. Now on this point you can find the quantity. So between 20 to 25 there is 5 small points: 21, 22, 23, 24, and then this is 25. So this is about 23, 22 or 23. So there are two words you can use here, near about or approximately. We can say this is maximum on Wednesday, which is near about 23 liters. And then it is starting to fall on Thursday. And on Friday, this is quickly fell down. And Friday to Sunday, this is constant, stable. When you see this line, straight line, it means this is not falling or raising. This is stable, constant. So this is all about a graph. What is a graph? In a very simple words, the graph is changing of anything according to time or some other things. And if we show all these changes in a picture, this is called graph only. Okay, you can make your own graph, your study graph. Today, how many hours you have studied, tomorrow, and you can make this graph for all this month. Okay, next. Now marking scheme of this composition. It is containing 5 marks, 3 marks for content, means on which topic you are writing the paragraph, and 2 marks for expression. 1 mark for grammatical accuracy, means your sentences should be grammatical correct. You should use appropriate words, effective words, and spelling. Your spellings should be correct. And then 1 mark for connecting ideas. Your sentences are related to each other. You should connect the ideas. And logical progression means your first sentence, second sentence, third sentence, there should be a logical progress in these sentences. Okay, then relevance of ideas, your ideas should be relevant to the graph or table given. And style, your ideas and style should be relevant. Next, format. Now come to the format. What should be the format of this analytical paragraph? First of all, let me tell you, you should write this composition in a single paragraph, because the name of this composition is analytical paragraph. So you try to write this in a single paragraph, and in this paragraph you can divide this into three parts. The introduction, first of all, the 1 or 2 lines of this paragraph, you can introduce the graph. For example, what is this graph about? The answer of this question will be your introduction. This graph is about birth and death rates in some country with time, means from 1901 to 2101. Okay, you can write this. Then second part is the body of the paragraph. After writing the introduction, you are to write the details given in the paragraph, in the graph about birth and death rate. Like details of the paragraph, where the death rate is maximum, where the minimum. Contrast or comparison means if you have given 2 or 3 trends in a graph, so you are to make a comparison between these two. Means you have to make the comparison between death rate and birth rate here. Now the next thing is describing quantities. Now you have to describe quantities, means in 1961 how much is the birth rate, in 2041 how much is the death rate. So these quantities may be there in percentage also, in numbers also. And then you have to connect sentences effectively. Okay, this is the body of the paragraph, but you have to write all these things in a single paragraph. The third thing is conclusion, means what is the conclusion you make after analyzing this graph. You can summarize this idea and the information in 1 or 2 lines, closing lines. So this is all about the format of analytical paragraph. You have to write this in 100 to 120 words. Next, how can you start your paragraph? I have given here some important words and phrases for you. So, how can you start introduction? How can you start your paragraph? So, you can start your paragraph with all these phrases or words. The chart given above describes, or the table given above describes. Then you write the topic of the graph or table or chart. The table suggests, the line graph shows, the data given provides information about, the pie chart illustrates. You can write for this example, we can write, the data given provides information about birth and death rates in some country from this to this. So all these lines we can use to start our paragraph, and in one or two lines we have to write the introduction. Next thing is body of paragraph. What is there in body of paragraph? Describing trends. When we describe trends and we describe the details given in the paragraph, we can use these sentences. A pattern of growth. What is the pattern of growth in this graph? Rapidly doubled. When something is doubled, when some number is doubled with time. Rapidly means fastly. Then we use this thing is rapidly doubled in 2011 or 2015. Skyrocketed means a sudden increase of something. This and this thing is skyrocketed in 2040. When you see the sudden increase of something, the line is going straight upward, then we use skyrocketed. Skyrocketed means increase, quickly increase, sudden increase. Striking increase, this is the same. Peaked means maximum. This is peaked in 2020. Okay. Soaring rates. Soaring rates means increasing. Declined means decreasing something. Plummeted means a quick fall. Means when something is decreased quickly, then we use this word, plummeted. Leveled off means stable. No rise, no fall. This is stable. Stagnated means also stable, constant. We use all these words. Then fluctuate. When you see this type of structure, it is raising, falling. So this is called fluctuation. So we can say the birth rate is fluctuating between 2020 to 2040. We can use this word like this. Starting to rise, on which point something is starting to rise, on which point something is starting to fall. Drop down, slightly. Slightly means lightly. Now, when we describe quantities in a graph, we can use 48% off, 70% off, 1/3 off. When something is 1/3 off some other thing, nearly 1/4 off, almost 80%. Almost we can use when we are not sure about some quantity. Majority, on average, twice as much, almost equal, the highest, the lowest, very close to 2%, very close to 5%, very close to some number we can write. Roughly, approximately, near about, just under 3%. So we can use these type of words or phrases to describe quantities. When we are not sure about the exact number of quantity, we can use approximately. This is near about 53, this is near about 65, this is almost 50%. We can use these type of words when we are not sure about the quantity, because you should be very much aware of describing quantities. Next is establishing a relationship or contrast. The third important thing is to make a comparison or contrast between 2 or 3 trends. So in this graph there is given 2 trends. In blue there is given English speaker students, and in red there is Hindi speaker students in government sector, private schools and KVS. The number of students are given on y-axis. So these words we can use to contrast between some 2 or 3 things. Relationship between, similarly, in contrast with, in comparison to, means the number of students speaking English in government sector is less in comparison to private or KVS. So like this we can use these phrases to compare 2 trends. But in the opposite case, however, whereas when it comes to as opposed to, while, striking difference means if there is a big difference, then we use this phrase striking difference. There is a striking difference. Noticeable means remarkable, remarkable difference. Okay, so all these words you can use to contrast, to compare things. Next is conclusion. This is the closing line of your paragraph, conclusion and other connecting phrases. You can start the conclusion line with overall, subsequently, in all, in a nutshell. This is a very good word. I like this. In a nutshell, then you can start your conclusion. For the chart given, in short, striking changes, including, therefore. So these are some other phrases you can use. So all this is about analytical paragraph. Now take the very, yes, let's some examples. I have taken 20 analytical paragraph questions in this video. I think this is quite enough to make you efficient if you do practice of all these questions. First question is the same picture, the same graph about birth and death rate. Below is a graph given showing birth and death rates in a country from 1901 to 2101. Write an analytical paragraph in 100 to 150 words. Now you can write this analytical paragraph very well, because when you observe the graph, you are to question in your mind to yourself, what is this graph about, what is given on x-axis, on y-axis, what trends are given there. So all these questions that I asked at the starting, you should ask to yourself while observing a graph or a pie chart or a table. Then you can write introduction, details of the graph, and then conclusion, like this. So you read this answer carefully and understand how this is written, and you have to do the practice in written only. Next question is this graph. This is a graph about digital devices purchased across years in Rishinagar. This question is given in your CBSE sample paper, and you have to analyze this bar graph. This is a bar graph, and this bar graph shows the digital devices which are purchased across years in Rishinagar. So this is the introduction. Then you analyze how many smartphones, how many computers are purchased in 2015, 2016, where this is maximum, where this number is minimum. So you can write, you can compare these 2 trends. Next, so this is the answer is given here. You are not to write as it is. Just write yourself. Just do practice. Next question is, this is also a bar graph, and this is about division of household tasks by males or females. in Great Britain. Now you can analyze and describe in a paragraph. This is the answer. You should not cram these answers. You should practice in written. Next question is, study the graph given below. The chart depicts the number of students of class 10th speaking English and Hindi. Different types of school in New Delhi. So you have to analyze, understand, and then write introduction, details, and comparison, and then conclusion. This is the answer. You can read very well and understand and write yourself in your words. You are nothing to write from your side. Only what you have understood from the graph given. You have to write only the informations. This is a pie chart. This is about proportion of people from each household type living in poverty. So all these things are given in this rectangle. This is the answer. You can read and write yourself. Next question. This is a table about internet activities by different age groups. Here teenagers, online games, get news, downloads, product research, buying a product, searching for people. So all these activities are given here, and all these age groups are given in this line. Teenager 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So introduction line is very clear. Now you have to write the details and quantities, comparison between each other, and then conclusion. This is the answer. You read carefully and write yourself. Next is about Dubai gold sales 2002. So here on x-axis there is given month names, January, February, and on y-axis this is given millions of dirhams. Dirhams is the currency of Dubai. So you have to analyze and write. Yes, this is the answer. Read this carefully and do practice in written. Next question is, study the chart given below, which is the result of the survey conducted in the public schools and government schools of Vadodara. This depicts the types of activities the teenagers during their leisure time. So the introduction line is very much clear here. This bar graph depicts the types of activities the teenagers 13 to 19 years doing in their leisure time. So you now observe this bar graph, analyze and describe. This is some clues about this graph. You don't need to write as it is, but you take some ideas, some helpful sentences, and you write yourself, because there is not given the introduction line very effective. So you write this yourself. Now the next question is, the following data is the form of histogram shows that death due to violence has increased considerably during recent years. So now you analyze this and write the paragraph yourself. You can take help with this paragraph. Now this is the next question. Write an analytical paragraph based on the pie charts showing the percentage growth in different sectors in India from the year 2010 to 2020. This is the charts. I think now this is visible to you. Growth in 2010 and growth in 2020. Next, you can take some clues from these lines and write yourself. Next is this table. The table below gives information about some of the world's most studied languages. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So there is languages in first column, number of people learning the language, number of native speakers. Native speakers means the speakers of that language who are living in that particular country. Number of countries where the language is spoken, number of other countries where the language is spoken. So all these data are given. You can write all these things in your notebooks also. Now this is the answer, but this answer is given in so many paragraphs. You have to write in one paragraph. Now this is the next question. The graph below shows the number of books read by men and women at Barnaby Public Library from 2011 to 2014. Write a paragraph analyzing the given data. This is very simple. So men are indicated in green line and women are indicated with blue line. You can take help from this paragraph. This is the answer. Next is the graph below shows the population change between 1940 and 2000 in 3 different countries in the US state of Oregon. Write a paragraph analyzing the given data. So this is the graph. I think this is visible to you. This is the graph. You have to understand, observe, understand and analyze. Describe. This is the answer. You can read this and write yourself. Now the practice time. This is the first question of your practice. As an aware citizen of the country, you are concerned about the increase in road accidents in the metropolitan city Delhi. Interpret the data given below in about 80 words. Also use your own ideas. So this bar graph is given here. You have to analyze this and you have to do this yourself because this is a practice question. Second question is given below is a pie chart which shows different type of electric gadgets used by middle class people in their houses on an average in Ahmedabad. So on the basis of given information, you have to write an analytical paragraph. Next is a survey was conducted at public schools on which children like to play in their free time. The details of the survey are given in the pie chart and now you have to analyze and write an analytical paragraph according to this. Next is this pie chart. This is about water pollution. Reasons of water pollutions. These are some clues about this paragraph. You write yourself. You can take help from these lines. The next is on the importance of reading. You have to write, and this is given number of books read per 100 students. So there are given number of books and on x-axis there is given year. The next question is sex ratio of Delhi as per civil registration data. So you have to analyze this. The next question is global weather is warming leading to Arctic meltdown. Study the following pie chart and write a brief paragraph on factors affecting global warming in 100 words. So you can analyze this pie chart and then write. You can take help from these lines. Now This is all about analytical paragraph. Dear students, I hope now you have understood this better and now your doubts are clear. So thank you and have a nice learning.